Hello. Well, when we left off, Avon had found the picture that had the lady that looked just like her who was pregnant in the year she was born. And she's off to Josephine, who runs the restaurant and has worked there for like a million years. So let's see what she has to say as she's confronting her. Josephine held the picture in her shaking hands. "I know you know her," I said. "Please tell me the truth." Yes, her eyes filled with tears as she stared down at the photograph. "I do. This was taken the year I was born, and I found another picture when she was my age. She looked just like me. She's my mom, isn't she?" Josephine nodded. "And you're both Kavanaughs," I said. She nodded again. "Yes, she was my daughter. And that means I'm your grandmother." She looked up at the picture and said, "You are." "Well, is that why I'm here now? Are you the one who brought us here?" I asked. "You're here because I wanted to see you. I wanted to meet you." I shook my head. "What for? Were you ever going to tell me?" "No," she said. I took a deep breath in and let it out slowly. "I'm so confused. So where is she anyway? Is she somewhere around here?" "No," Josephine shook her head and said, "She's gone. She died just a few weeks after you were born." "Oh," I breathed. I had always assumed my parents had given me up because of my disability. I had never considered that my mother had died. I told her that it was too soon for her to do a show, since you had just been born, but she wouldn't listen to anyone. No one ever told her what to do. She wiped her eyes. No, no, no. We think maybe she had a dizzy spell while riding the horse in the rodeo. But we don't know. It's just very much unlike her to fall off of a horse, and that's what happened." I bit my lip. "I'm sorry." Josephine shook her head and waved her hand in the air. "What about my father?" I asked. Josephine shrugged. "Don't know. Avon never told me who it was. You see, she always wanted a baby, but could never find somebody to marry. And then when you came along, she was just so happy to have you. And she's the one who named you Avon after herself. She said that men do it all the time, so why shouldn't she be allowed to name her daughter after herself? She was a firecracker, your mom. When she died, I didn't know what to do. I was already old and just getting older, and I had this park to look after. I didn't think I could provide the attention and care a baby like you needed, so I thought it would be best to find a nice family to adopt you." "So you just let me go?" I said. "Yes." "Into the foster care system for 2 years. Her eyes filled with tears. "I didn't think it would happen. All I thought was that a nice, loving family would want to adopt a baby like you." "A baby like me," I repeated. She shook her head. "Okay, I'm saying everything all wrong." I sighed. "But does it matter now? Because you were right. A nice, loving family did adopt me, and that's all that matters. So how did you find us anyway?" "Well, I could never stop thinking about you, wondering how you were doing." She looked down at the desk, and her cheeks turning pink. "So I hired someone to find you some years back." She looked up like she was checking my reaction. Then she looked away again and said, "He's been giving me regular reports about what's been going on with you." "You've been stalking us?" I cried. No, not stalking. Just checking to make sure y'all was okay. That's how I found out your daddy had been out of work for a while, and that y'all were about to lose your house." "We were?" I said, surprised at the information. "Of course they didn't tell you. They're good parents." "Yes," I said, "they are." "So I got this plan forming in my head to ask your daddy to apply for this job. I hadn't been managing the park for years. I just couldn't do it after your mom." She looked at the picture. "Anyway, I prefer to be in the restaurant just working and keeping my eye on things, sort of secret-like. My old park manager didn't have anything under his hat but a hair, so I was relieved to see your dad had worked as a restaurant manager. I thought it was worth a shot. I didn't know if he'd apply, and I'm glad that he did." "How come he doesn't know you're the owner?" "Oh, I go by Joe Kavanaugh for all my business dealings." short for Josephine Kavanaugh, but around here, I'm Josephine Oakley. Gives me an air of mystery, don't you think? I stared at her, not exactly sure what to think. If they all knew who I was, they'd be bothering me about every little thing like they used to. I just couldn't handle that anymore. Only my accountant Gary knows the truth, and I prefer it that way. She ran a hand through her dyed red hair. And Henry, well, his mind's going, so no one else around here worked back when Avon was here, and I thought I did a good job of making sure no one would ever know who I was. She smiled at me. I should have known that you would figure it out, though, smart as you are, just like her. I took a deep breath. So what now? Do you expect me to start calling you Grandma or something? Oh, heavens, no. I never even planned on telling you who I was. I'm leaving Stagecoach Pass. It's time for me to retire. Over 80 years old, and I'm still working like a dog. I'm done. Stick a fork in me. Where are you going to go? I'm going to go to the Golden Sunset Retirement Community about 5 miles from here. She nodded. Yeah, they have a swimming pool and a mediocre cafeteria food. I guess it'll do. She stared at me. I don't expect you want me in your life. I'm just glad to know that y'all are doing okay. What are you going to do with Stagecoach Pass? I asked, worried my parents would be left without jobs again. Well, it's yours. I stood straight up. What do you mean? I mean, you own it. Right now it's under your parents' control, but when you turn 18, it's all yours to do with as you please. Are you serious? She nodded. You're my only family. It's all I can do for you. The land is worth a lot of money. I stuck my chin out. Maybe you should just sell it and leave. Well, you can do whatever you want when you have it. I was quiet for a moment. No, I don't think I'd ever sell it. I kind of like it here. Avon liked it here, too. You know, she used to play the guitar and sing. She used to do shows for people. I play the guitar, too. She smiled and said, I'm not surprised. So Avon, she was a performer? Oh, yeah. She didn't just sing with her guitar. She rode horses in the rodeos, and she loved being the center of attention. Tell me something else about her. Josephine grinned and said, she loved tarantulas. It was a lovely, perfect evening. As I kicked the row of soccer balls into the net one by one, I was really starting to like Arizona. The constant sunshine, the smell of orange blossoms in the air, the soft green grass I walked on barefoot whenever I could, and the beautiful sunsets. I gazed up at the evening sky after I kicked the ball into the net. It looked like it had been painted with watercolors of pink, orange, and purple, the sky, and I sighed. Nice work, Green, Coach Fuller called. Then I ran over to Jessica, and we worked on moving the ball back and forth between us and the other girls. We're going to have a team kickoff party at my house this weekend, Jessica said as we worked. Want to come? Yeah. Should I bring anything? Jessica paused and said, how about some soda? Okay. And do you think you might come to the festival? Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure most of the team is planning on it. Good job today, girls, the coach called out. I checked the watch around my ankle. Wow, that flew by. I guess I'll see you tomorrow. Jessica looked past me and didn't answer. I turned around when I heard a bark and spotted Connor standing at the edge of the field. Is he your friend? She asked. Connor raised a hand and waved, and I smiled. Yeah, he's my best friend. She kicked the ball to me as she grinned and raised her eyebrows. He's cute, she said, and ran off to join the other girls headed into the locker room. I let out a laugh when I walked over to Connor. I stopped about 3 feet in front of him. Hi. Hi. He looked down at his feet and back up at me. So you made the soccer team? I did. And you made a new friend, he gestured toward Jessica, walking back to the locker room with everyone else. I glanced at her and turned my attention back to Connor. Yeah. I studied the painful look on his face. But I miss my old friend. You. Connor smiled and shrugged his shoulders. Where have you been? I asked him. Just home. I decided I was never going to come back to school. What made you change your mind? You. Well, and my mom. She told me to get my butt out of bed yesterday. Now, I thought she was going to drive me to school, but instead she called into work and we spent the day together. You did? Yeah, we even went out for dinner. Seriously? At a restaurant? Well, sort of. We got takeout and we ate it in the park, but still. But still, I said, it's a good start. And we stood there awkwardly for a moment. And I said, guess what? What? Josephine, the lady who works at the steakhouse? She's my grandmother. What? Connor's mouth hung open. I nodded. Yeah, she's Jo Kavanaugh. She's the one who hired my parents. Why? She said she wanted to meet me and make sure that I was okay. So who was the girl in the picture? That was my birth mother. What happened to her? Well, I said, she died, surprised to feel a knot in my throat, surprised at how much I wished I could have known her. I'm sorry, Avon, he said. Josephine gave me up because she didn't think she could care for me. I guess she thought she was doing the best thing for me. I'm sure that's what she thought at the time, Connor said, but obviously she regretted enough to have you brought out here. Well, if she thinks we can just automatically have a relationship with me after all this time, I think she might be mistaken. I dug my cleat into the ground. Of course, Connor agreed. She must be, I don't know, a terrible person? I don't know. Connor grinned at me and I narrowed my eyes. I see what you're trying to do here. I don't think I'm ready to forgive her yet for abandoning me. Well, she didn't exactly leave you in a cave in the desert. How did she? Anyway, how old is she? 83. So she was 70 when you were born. I bet she was thinking, oh, holy cow pie, I bet I'm going to be near 90 by the time this baby graduates high school. She'll have to push me in a wheelchair just to get to their ceremony. That's going to be hard. You're funny. Yeah, but you get my point. Well, I said, maybe I do and maybe I don't. Everything is really coming together for the festival, though. I think it's going to be a really big success for Stagecoach Pass. Anything you do is going to be a big success, Avon. My cheeks flushed at the compliment. I'm just sorry that you're not going to be there. I looked up at him. It won't be the same without you. I think about it, okay? I'll think about coming. That's the best I can say. Okay, I guess I'll have to accept that then. We stood there quietly for a minute. My mom's going to with me to the next support group meeting, Connor said. That's great. Do you want to come with us? He frowned. I'm sure Dexter would love to see you there. I'd love to be there for you, Connor, not for Dexter. Are you sure? Because I know he's so funny and all that. And I giggled. I'm sure. And really, he's not that funny. Connor smiled. I was also thinking maybe you could teach me a little bit on the guitar to see how it goes. I'd love to. My mom and I watched this video online about people with Tourette's and how music can be almost like therapy for them. It can make them stop ticking when they're playing music. When I told her about you and the guitar, she thought it would be a great idea for us to work together on it. She really likes you. That's amazing, I said. I mean about the music, but also your mom. She's getting involved more with you. Yeah, I guess I'm letting her because, you were right. That's because I'm smart. I tossed my hair back over my shoulders. Yes, you are, Connor said. Even smart enough to be an astronaut. The morning of the festival, I woke up before it was light outside. I had so much to do and I couldn't wait to get started. The first thing I did was sit down on my computer and write a blog post. And here's what it said. Come to Stagecoach Pass today for our festival. We'll have a good food and art and fireworks. It will be the most fun you've had since the last super fun time you had. I was frustrated for the first time in a long time at how long it took me to get my jeans on. In my excitement, I kept missing the button with my hook, but eventually I got it and I rushed out of the apartment and down the stairs. Mom and Dad were already up and out in the park making sure everything was in order. When Mom saw me, she said, Get back upstairs and eat some breakfast. I did, I said. Liar, she said right back. I made my way to the petting zoo to visit Spaghetti. I petted him with my foot and whispered, It's going to be a busy day. He lifted his head and looked at me lazily and then looked like he was saying back to me, Well, maybe for you. I walked around Stagecoach Pass all morning trying to be useful, running errands for anyone and everyone and delivering messages and making phone calls. By 9 o'clock, I was lightheaded with hunger, so I sat down with Josephine in the kitchen of the steakhouse and ate a bowl of beans. Today is your big day, she said. I scooped a spoonful of beans carefully into my mouth, holding the spoon with my toes. I forgot to ask you something, I said. What's that? Josephine answered. I found an old necklace up on the hill. It's silver with a turquoise stone in it. Was that still up there? We released Avon's ashes at the top of the hill, and that was her favorite necklace. So I hung it on a little wooden cross. I figured it would be long gone by now, probably washed away in the monsoon. Could I see the necklace sometime? Sure. I put down my spoon and I pushed the bowl away from me. I better get going. I left the kitchen hoping the awkward feeling I was getting around Josephine would go away in time. I walked out and was disappointed to find people weren't already pouring into the entrance, and more disappointed that Connor wasn't out there. Around 10 o'clock, a few people trickled in. As the morning wore on, the trickle became a steady flow. The flapjackaroo started playing on the newly cleaned stage around noon. I had no idea what to expect of breakfast entertainers, but they really weren't that bad. And except for a song about bacon and eggs thrown in here and there, they mostly played normal country music. By late afternoon, the parking lot was fuller than it had ever been, and I wandered around enjoying the festivities and talking to the vendors about their art. And I'm going to stop us there.